Okay, after we got done studying arithmetic and geometric sequences, the next thing we did was analyze tables. So this is a review of how to do that. Now this is a very calculator intensive piece of work, so you're going to need a calculator to do this. So pause now and get a calculator if you don't have one. So a lot of times we'll just give you a table and ask you to write the function that matches the table. You can do this, you may be asked to do this for 4 different kinds of functions: linear functions, quadratic functions, cubic functions, and exponential functions. Now, here's what those functions look like. Linear is easy. You know this one. Y is equal to mx plus b. And here's an example. Quadratic. You also know this one pretty well by now. And here's an example. Cubic functions. Now this is the standard form of the cubic function. We have not worked with this a lot, but here's an example of what it looks like. And then finally the exponential function. And here's an example of what it might look like. Pause now and copy down these examples. Now let's look at our first example. We've been given a table and 4 answer choices, and we want to know which one matches that table. So now get your calculator ready, turn it on, and press the Stat key, which is located about 3 rows down from the top row, right under the Delete key, right in the middle, and then press Enter to edit. And it should look like this. You should see list 1, list 2, etc. Now on your calculator, you're going to enter the X values into list 1 and the Y values in list 2. I hope that you remember this because this is a really useful thing when you're working with tables. Okay, it should look like this. All right, now right from there, press Stat, tab over to Calc, and it should look like this. Now, you have several options here. Let's talk about the options we'll be using. We will be using option 4, linear regression, option 5, quadratic regression, option 6, cubic regression, and then if you tab down, you'll find option 0, which is exponential regression. For your final, and really for this year, and in Algebra 2, these are the only options on this particular menu we will be using: 4, 5, 6, and 0. All right, now let's go on and see if we can answer the question at hand. Let's try linear regression first. So we're going to select option 4 and press Enter until it looks like this. Now you may have to press Enter several times or only a couple of times, depending on what model of calculator you have, but you should all end up in the same place, and that would be here. The linear equation that we have is this one. Now, does that match any of our answer options? I would say no. So we're going to keep going. Now make sure you're getting good notes as we go along. Let's try quadratic regression next. So we're going to press Stat, tab over to Calc, and this time select option 5 and press Enter until it looks like this. Now that translates to this quadratic equation. Does that look like any of the answer choices? Heck no, so we're going to keep going. Next, let's try cubic regression. So all over again, we press Stat, we tab over to Calc, and this time we select option 6 for cubic regression and press Enter until it looks like this. Now, if we write that out, substituting in for A, B, C, and D in that standard format, we get this. Does that look like any of our answer choices? Well, heck yeah, it looks like answer choice C. That is our answer. So We started with linear, then we tried quadratic, then we tried cubic because we don't know what kind of function this is. We can find out with a lot of complicated algebra, but I think it's better to let the calculator do the work for us in this case. So let's try another example. This is our new table. So on your calculator, first on your calculator, we want to clear your calculator. So press second plus 712. Let me repeat that. Clear your calculator by pressing second plus 712. And then press the stat key, press enter to edit, and you should see some empty lists. All right, so here we are. We're going to enter our X values into list 1 and our Y values in list 2, and it should look like this. Once you are there, let's try linear regression first. So we're going to press Stat, tab over to Calc, and select option 4. That's not written there, so listen carefully. We're going to press Stat, tab over to Calc, and select option 4, and then press enter until it looks like this. Does that match any of our answer choices? I'd say not. So let's go on. We're going to do quadratic regression next. So we're going to press Stat, tab over to Calc, and select option 5, and press enter until it looks like this. Now that doesn't match any of our answer choices either. All right, let's go on to cubic. Maybe we have a cubic function. So we're going to press Stat, tab over to Calc, and select option 6, and press enter until it looks like this. Hey, that doesn't match any of our answer choices. We only have one left, but I don't want to be the one who just marks it by process of elimination. I think I want to see this through. So press Stat, press Calc, and then tab down to option 0. Press enter until it looks like this. Now when we write that out as an equation, this is what it looks like. A is 0.5 and B is 2.2, and that little upside down V in X means the X is the exponent. Does that match any of our answer options? Fortunately, it does. It matches answer choice D. Ignore my typo in my slide. It is D. Okay, so that's the last of our examples. Please pause and go back if you missed something or you didn't take notes at all. You'll need these notes later. I am thinking about letting you use your notes on the semester exam, so please have good notes. You can use whatever you have if I decide to do that. Later, peoples.